And,
Okay.
okay, so I would like to introduce one of our master plein air painters, Errol Jacobson,
Please.
one of the original members of the Plein Air Painters Chicago. And Errol is going to, and remember you have to share your screen. You want to say something? Most people have been here, but anything you particularly want to say right now?
Talking to me?
Yeah, to you, sorry.
Okay, so, yeah, well, I know almost all of you guys, and all you guys basically know me, except Helen is new. Welcome, Helen.
Thank
Glad
you.
you're with the group, and
Jessica's new.
Jessica, yeah, and I
I
think the
don't
rest.
think you've met Art, but Art's been a member for a few
Yeah, I
years.
haven't, so good to meet you.
And
And,
Arun's
Stan, the
new.
rest of you guys, we all know each other either from the plein air painters or the palette and chisel, where we painted for many years. And yeah, so I'm glad to do this. I'm always happy. Whatever I can do, listen, I think I'm not the best plein air painter. I think I'm not the worst plein air painter. I've been painting plein air now since 2006. So that's what, 18 years. And some years more than I used to paint. It seems like there was like a few years now where I haven't done a lot of it, but I've been doing a lot more of it lately, and I'm really enjoying it. And I forgot how much I like it. It's always great to get outside and be among people and be among you guys and stuff. So,
Cool.
yeah, so I'm happy to give back what's been given to me, and I think that's really important because when I first started painting plein air, as you guys probably know, me and Stephanie, my partner, most of you guys know Stephanie. She's a plein air painter too. I mean, a painter as well, artist. And we went out back in 2006, our first time. And weren't the members of the group, but we went out and we snuck around. We kind of like saw what everybody was doing, what kind of easels they had. And we were really like kind of like shy and scared. Didn't want to disturb anybody. Everybody was so nice to us, and we joined the group, and then Scott, those of you know Scott, every time we'd paint every Saturday, and then after we painted, he'd line everybody's paintings up and he'd critique every one of them. Sometimes 25 paintings.
Wow.
And he's a great artist, and a great person, good friend to a lot of us, a lot of people have known him, a long time.
And
And
I'll just say for people who want to see some of this, if you go on to our YouTube channel, Plein Air Painter Chicago on YouTube, there's a lot of the demos recordings are up. And also on our website, there are recordings
so
too.
anyways, it's always good to give back, and I'll say some things about paintings. You guys can take it with a grain of salt, not take it. It's just an opinion. I try to look for things that are kind of like universal, things that people look for. So I don't really like the name the critique thing. It's kind of like. Yeah, I don't like that particular word, it sounds too harsh. So should we get started?
Yeah, let me just say, if everyone could please mute themselves. And then when your painting is up, you can unmute so that you can,
Yeah.
back and forth.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to share my screen. And then the first one up that we're gonna share. And there's the first one. And the first one, Helen, you're number one.
Oh, brother.
So, anyways, yeah, when I saw this painting, Helen, great job. I mean, this is a beautiful painting.
Thank you.
You got a lot of talent, a lot of skill, and you really, this now, where is this? This is right on Wells Street.
It's Topo Gigio.
Oh, Topo Gigio, okay.
Yeah.
And it's oil, right?
No, it's acrylic.
Acrylic, okay, great.
Mhm.
And it's great to have an acrylic painter. Do you always paint in acrylics, or is that your main medium?
Well, I do both, but I just find plein air because it goes so fast that I can do layers and they dry. I can,
Yeah.
and I'm not like getting mud.
Yeah. And I think that's really great, because we haven't had a lot of acrylic painters to my memory, and I think I can see where that would work really well for plein air, and obviously, by your results, You know, you get some really nice things going. I mean, really nice light on the building, good composition. It's a good use of space, negative space with the sky. Um, just enough detail in the windows, not overdone. One of the things I love about this painting is the cornice, and you guys know what I mean by the cornice, the top of the tall building there, that right above between the foliage, the ivy coming off the building and the sky. That's the cornice of the building. And, you know, she paid attention to the reflected light coming off the ground, you know, catching that cornice. I mean, that's truly a mark of someone who's, you know, really good observation skills and, you know, a good, you know, nice, you know, just enough information to see that there's like a metal cornice there, without over explaining, you know. You know, I don't have much to say about this painting. I mean, it speaks for itself. There's like a couple super little things. If you look on the right side of the painting, those two buildings, those two roof lines that are coming off on an angle on the
Hmm.
right side, and then the cloud, um, the rear roof line, that white cloud goes right into the edge of that gutter. And this is a really small, picky thing, but it creates a tangent. And I think that if you just put maybe it'd be like a small little dab of paint that with the blue would come just below that gutter, you know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
instead of the sky, I mean, it's so minuscule. So I noticed that. And then I do have one question for you.
Uh-huh.
The shadow, okay, you got the four windows on the main building, right? Then you
Uh-huh.
got the shadow coming off the awning, you
Hmm.
know, that's coming down very nicely, right?
Hmm.
Then you got the edge of the building, and then you got that little slope, the roof going back there, you know, and there's a
Hmm.
shadow coming off of that.
Hmm.
My question to you is is that the shadow from the building, from the main building?
It's it's the shadow from the sign. That white little line above the awning to the right is the sign. It's the edge of the sign, Topo Gigio, and
Oh,
that's
okay,
that's
okay.
casting the shadow. There's a couple things about this painting that bug the crap out of me, and one of them is that you can't tell that's the sign. And if I
Yeah,
had like some sort of uh, if I articulated the fixture to the building, that
yeah,
would be more clear that
okay.
that is the sign, because right now it just looks like a stripe on the
Yeah,
building.
and thank you for explaining that
Yeah.
because I was thinking of that. Yeah, okay, so that's why it's off the edge. I thought it was a shadow from the building, but regardless, you know, of course you could cheat a little bit and maybe make the sign slightly put a little bit more to the right, you know, to
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
and then possibly invent something like a wire coming off the building, like that's hanging
Yeah.
the sign.
Yeah.
Very,
There was one, and I was in a hurry to finish this,
yeah,
so I it's like it's those tiny little details that really make the difference,
yeah,
and I omitted it.
yeah. Well, yeah, you got, you know, beautiful painting, great job. I hope you keep coming out with us.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we're gonna move on.
Thank you.
Okay, oh, I gotta go the right way here. Uh, we're going on to Pam's. Okay, so this is her reference, which is the Wrigley building with the flag, and then the building behind it is the Tribune Tower. And this is her painting. So, and then while I'm looking at your painting, or to everybody, I'm also looking on my iPad at the reference photo, so it helps me. So you're here, Pam, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, yeah, so, yeah, hi. So Pam, you
Oh,
did a really nice job on this painting. Good job on the architecture. This is not an easy thing to tackle. You know, I've painted this building many times and it's always a challenge, you know. And so you did a really nice job and you get a really good sense of light. You know, I see the separation of the light hitting the front of the building and then you're getting more, more the shadow side of the building. So that's and pretty good perspective on the building too. And also, I think he did a really nice job on the windows. I'll speak about the Tribune windows and the other windows too, because you put just enough detail in there to know that they're windows, without overworking them. Not if there's anything against, someone being more realistic. I mean, there's all kinds of, there's a whole continuum from, photorealism to, total abstraction. And, but, for what you're trying to achieve, I think it's good.
Well, thank you.
So I have a couple comments. One comment is I painted a lot of American flags. And I think when we paint not because it's the American flag, but because the American flag is so, we all know what it looks like, and I think that to get the correct amount of stripes in there, I think it ends with the red stripe and starts with the red stripe, and so maybe whatever your reference is, whether it's the American flag or the French flag or whatever, it's not a bad idea. I mean, I know it's the American flag, but I think it would help if it's even maybe a little bit, and I know it could be wavy, that some of the bars are going to be further from one another, but you might want to do that. And then also the tower, straight up on the top, you have that narrow tower in the back. Try to keep, when we're painting architecture, because your architecture on the rest of the painting, your verticals are pretty vertical. But when you get up to the tower, it's leaning a little bit to the left. The lines are a little wonky, so maybe you can just kind of like, straighten that out a little bit. And then the last thing I want to say is, because I'm looking at the photograph, and I'll go back there so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Oops, wrong way. Oh, shoot. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Can you see my arrow here?
Yes.
Oh, I can use this. Okay. So you see what I mean by the flag, with the stripes? I mean, just because there's a few more stripes in there, which you would have. So that would be good. And then this building here this is in front, this building's in back. So going back to your painting, this almost looks like it's on the same plane. This is our focal point. This is your focal point. This is what you want, I assume, what drew you to the scene. So we need to send this building back in space. And how we do that is by cooling it off, with duller, cooler colors in this particular instance, and less detail. And that'll send the building back. One more thing is, I think that you could have with the windows, I know you did a beautiful job on these windows, but in this particular painting, I would like really like just kind of like indicate it even with these lines. You know what I mean, Pam?
Yes.
Just kind of like tone it down a little bit, you see, just a little bit. And
Okay.
that'll send the building back. But you did a really good job on a pretty darn difficult subject, so good job.
Thank you.
Okay, hope that helped. Okay, let's see, moving on. Okay, Robin. This is Robin's.
Hi, yeah,
Hey, Robin, how you doing? So
I'm good.
I saw Robin painting this, and I walked over and I said, I know Robin just came back from Italy. I go, Robin, you feel like you're back in Italy. I said, this looks so Italian, and you can see that it's this is like a deck up there, and there's a door, stairs, and another door there, building and stairs. It was a really charming little scene. It was a good find. And this is her painting. So I think this is really a charming little painting too. Very, very, painterly, impressionistic. It's a very softly done. It's got a, nice edge work. And I like, I like, the shadow pattern coming, off the, on the ground. It just, yeah, everything about it, I think is really, really nice. I think there's some things that could make it even better. And one thing is the sun's coming in this direction. So we always have to be aware where the sun's coming from. This means that this wall right here would be in shadow. Okay, so, I would completely, get this wall darker, maybe this color. You don't even have to explain it too much, just kind of like tone it down, just put this blue color all over it. The other thing is, um, so I think, Robin, you took some liberties with the scene, so you kind of reinvented the scene a little bit, correct? A little bit?
Afraid so.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, I
Yeah.
mean, that's okay. That was your intention, correct?
Well, kind of. Sort of the
Okay.
close, kind of the close enough
Yeah, well,
attitude.
because here's what I'm thinking, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's a little different than the picture, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that if that's the way you wanted to do it, you know what I mean? So let's go with the way that you saw it, but um let me see. I think that the hero of the painting, I think, is this door right here, So I think that we could possibly, you have these steps leading up here,
Hmm.
and they're kind of leading up to a garden, because this is green here, right?
Yeah.
So in the picture, in the actuality, there's a door there. You get my drift? So,
Yeah.
so I'm not in your head, what you're trying to do, So I'm just gonna go with, like, you wanted this to be more of a garden back here. And you wanted this to be more sky, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, right. And because in the picture, it's like a building back there, okay? So I'm
Hmm.
gonna go with your interpretation of it, which is perfectly fine, Okay, where am I? Okay, so, so if this is the case, I think that maybe this could be a little bit lighter to send this back. Because, and what I would do is I would emphasize these steps a little bit more, like really like put a couple harder edges on there, and maybe
Okay.
even a little bit harder edge on the door. So we know this is the central part, and then maybe put this back a little bit, like there's a little mystery back there, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I think that would be really, really nice. I mean, you could even put like, like even put like, I mean, you could do whatever you want to do back there. You can make it really go far back, like it's even leading to a path, like, out in and out of the picture. And then, so this is sky. This is part of the building that was originally there in the picture,
Hmm. Yeah.
be right here. But then you have it as sky. You see what I
I,
mean?
yeah, that was kind of a,
Yeah,
that was a big
so
mistake.
so
Yeah.
so you have a couple of choices. Either you could go back and take the reference and kind of like put in some structure in there, you know what I mean, and clean that up. Or you
Yeah.
could just keep it all sky, you know what I mean? It'd be fine, and
No,
keep that.
it looks weird. It looks
What?
weird with the blue blob there.
Well, if you
I think,
if you want to go back more into the way it was, then you have to maybe blow up that picture and actually see what's there. You know what I mean? And put
hmm.
maybe a couple little structure indications. You don't have to do it perfectly, because there's a cool little door right here when you blow that up. I love
Yeah.
that. So you have a choice. You know what I mean? But overall, I think your paint application, is lovely. I think the feel is lovely. Maybe I would knock this down a little bit, maybe a little variation here. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so that's what I gotta say.
Okay, yeah, thank you. When I looked at it, I thought this very center of it to the above the door to the left side was like kind of a little bit of a boring area. And I thought, well, maybe I could put a shadow on the wall or something.
Yeah, with this area right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could put a shadow, or you could just take your palette knife or something and put a little texture, maybe put some of this color up there and almost indicate like it's an old wall, that it has some
Uh-huh.
age, which it does, but definitely
Yeah.
darken this side down a little bit, And maybe you can make some of these plants right here a little bit darker too, because as they come
Okay.
forward, they get darker. Okay.
Okay, thanks very
Well, then,
much. It's
my
very
pleasure,
helpful.
Robin. Okay, so, okay, Barbara. Barbara, are you here? Barbara.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
Barbara.
here, I'm here,
Hi,
I'm here.
Barbara. Okay,
Hello.
so, so this is the reference. And
Yes.
let me get my iPad going. Okay. 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 Okay, here's the building. So great job on the architecture. I mean, this painting, if someone were to see this painting and was familiar with this building, they would know this building. There is no doubt about it. So the architecture is the drawing is well done. Um, oops, and you know, perspective is good. I really like the way, I was talking to Stephanie about this painting. We both like the way that you kind of like, you know, kind of put this little bit of light, some interest going on, what's going on inside the store, you know, and I don't know if that was in the reference or you saw that, you saw it later, you know.
Yeah, there was there's that sign there and I just exaggerated it.
Yeah,
But when
yeah,
I see,
yeah,
you can't see it from the photograph, but
yeah.
across the street, I could see these pieces of orange in there.
Right,
And,
right, and so then that you took artistic license and you know, that's why we're painters, you know, we're not like, you know, I mean, we could do a completely faithful copy of something, but we can also reinvent something, you know, completely different than what's there, using that as a focal point, as a jumping off point, or use parts of it and then bring in our own interpretation. So I think in this, basically, you basically brought in a little bit of your own, you know, you push these legs.
Yeah.
Like the
Mhm.
shadow, I love the shadow on the road.
Uh-huh.
You know, something on the shadow, see the shadow here can come down, you have it coming, you kind of got it, but it
Uh-huh.
kind of like, I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe a little bit too far coming down. And so yeah, good job on the perspective. Now, what I think would really help this painting immensely is if we go back to the photograph, um, look how the sky, the building comes forward from the background, okay?
yes,
And that's
uh-huh,
because the sky is darker, okay? Darker value. If you darken the value of this sky, whether you keep it this, you know, some color of blue, whatever color you want to do,
uh-huh,
then that's going to bring the building forward because you're painting a building shadow, which is not easy to do. Which I also want to point out that many times as plein air artists, we're attracted to something that's lit up. And I agree that those are beautiful to paint, but it's a challenge to pick out something that's completely in shadow. And so
yeah,
I think if you lighten the sky, I was gonna say that these buildings in the back need to be a little darker, but I wouldn't do anything till you darken the sky. And then see
okay,
what it does to this and this. All right,
yeah.
and they
I
might be
really,
just
I
fine.
had a problem with the value on though. I mean, I knew it was the value, just the way the light was, and the light from the street
Mhm,
really did throw me off, because
mhm.
it was really, I was behind a sidewalk that was really very brightly lit, so it made a difference, and I had a little trouble with those buildings in the back.
Well, I think I really like the way you did the buildings in the back because I just love the little bit of detail you got there. Now,
Uh-huh,
what you also do, once you get the blue in there and the sky a little darker, you might
yeah,
just put a little harder edge, like you got a hard edge right there. A
yeah,
little
a little
edge right
harder,
in front, right
okay.
here, maybe some lost and found edges. You know,
Uh,
you see an edge, you don't see an edge, you see an edge. It doesn't
Uh-huh,
have to be a complete line. It can be a lot, kind of like you did a lost and found over here, you know?
yeah, okay.
And then one other thing, I think you could possibly darken this fire escape a little bit, just slightly. I'll tell you why.
Fire
If you
escape,
look,
okay,
if you look at this, you can see that it's like,
yeah,
oh, it's there, but it's not so predominant and a little thinner. Just a little bit, because right now it's just a little bit too,
a little dark. Yeah, it's thick, it's too thick.
but yeah, good job.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you
You're
very much, that's helpful.
welcome. My pleasure. Okay, so let's see, moving on. Cafe Sushi. Okay, this is
Julie.
Julie. And Julie's here,
Hi.
right? Hi,
Yep, I'm
Julie. How
here.
you doing?
Hi.
Yeah, and this is oil, right? Or
No, this is
watercolor?
watercolor.
Watercolor. Okay, great. So I know, you know, as you guys know, I know nothing about watercolor. I don't do it, never done it, but I appreciate people to do it because it takes a lot of skill. you did a nice job on this. I mean, you really captured the energy, the urban environment and the flowers and the people and, the excitement of what's going on, in this particular scene, and there's a lot, there's a lot of stuff going on and basically I think you did a really good job. I can make some comments that I think could help a little bit. Let's look at the reference photo. I want to go back to I think it's pretty much all in the midtones. This painting. There's not a value structure. I mean, I mean, you could make it a completely high key painting, but I think it would be better if we used more of a fuller range of values. So if you look at the actual subject, there's some places in there where you can get some darker value, especially underneath these these porches, these and these whatever they are, these insets, and down in
Yeah.
here, I'm talking about,
Yeah, yeah.
and then so that's one thing. And I know, let's see, with watercolor, let me think about this. You're going from you're going from light to dark. You're going from light to dark, right? No, you're going from
Yes,
light to dark.
light to dark, yeah.
So you can go darker, right? You can go darker. Yeah, so you can easily do that. Now, the other thing is that you need to look at is this perspective. Some of the perspective is a little off. You're pretty much going straight on here for the most part. If you look at this perspective, I mean, not quite. I mean, this is a slight angle, right? There is a slight angle here. This is more of a severe angle. Back to your vanishing point back here. So let's look at your. So this looks just pretty much like you have it in the photograph. So that's good. Same thing here. This has to come down much more because your vanishing point is down here someplace, your horizon
Okay.
line. So this has to come down more. And this is coming up too severe. It looks like you're
Okay.
painting from the second floor. Okay, so this is almost should go more like this. Same thing with this line. This should be more starting here and going in this direction. And I'll show you. If you look at this, right? See how flat that is? You have it more going up like this. Same thing with this here. See this street? You have this street going up like this, where it goes way back here someplace. So I think
Okay.
if you, whether you do it on this painting or not, it's something to pay attention to, is your horizon line and your vanishing point in this, which is basically a 2-point perspective. Okay?
Yep,
And,
thank you.
and one more thing. And then possibly you could get that sky a little darker too, which is going to pop the building too, a little bit. So
Okay, I'm gonna try those things. I felt like
okay,
I
yeah,
got it okay, but it just doesn't really say anything,
Yeah, but you did a really good job on like all these. Well, I think it says a lot. It did a really good job on all the. I can feel the energy in here. And all the plants going on. I really like these people. I did a really nice job on them, but they're a little high. They're up on the second floor kind of, or up, if you come across, they're up here someplace. So just watch your perspective. Okay.
Okay.
Moving on. Okay, Mr. Kuhn, I know you're here. And
Yep.
let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna make this bigger, probably make it. And then I'm gonna go back. So this is a reference photo. The fountain by Moody Church, right?
Right.
And I'll bring that back later. Let me go back to 100%. Let me go to the painting. So there it is. So Kuhn, I mean, needless to say, we all know Kuhn's a wonderful artist and great, great painter and really great draftsman. He can draw like the wind. And Kuhn, you got the whole summer afternoon thing going. So, it's not just a painting, even though the fountain's pretty central in there, it's not a painting just about the fountain. It's people enjoying a summer day. So I don't know if that was your concept or not, but that's what I'm getting from it, And, you know, great job on the people, love the fountain, you know, just enough detail, the water. Love the way you did all this. I mean, you know, I was just in Italy for a couple of weeks painting in Umbria and Tuscany, and, you know, I could have used some of your skills here doing some of those old buildings. You know, you just really, just enough to like, you know, suggest it, you know, and keep it back there, you know, really nice. You know, same thing with this up here. So really nice painting. Just a couple quick little comments. I mean, they're pretty minor. Right over here, in the photograph, this is like a, it's like a little structure back there. I'm not sure what it is. It's a little something back there, a little building of some sort. But you've got this coming right into the guy's head. Looks like he's getting like pierced by it. So, well, if there ever was an example of a tangent, that's an example of it. So you could easily fix that by either eliminating this completely,
Sure.
like this part,
Okay.
and just leave that. That would be kind of interesting. Or bring it. That's how I would do it personally. Instead of bringing it down, because I don't think it's a stopper over there. It stops you or your eye from going off the page. But I think it could be, yeah, I think if you just eliminated that part. I mean,
Okay.
you know, do what you like. You guys, when you look at what Kuhn posted, everybody who paints figures and cars, he did a really good job of establishing the relationship of the size of the figures, in this case, to the fountain. All right. If you go back, I'm not going to bring up the picture because I don't have a very good picture. For some reason, it's small on the computer. You'll see if you draw a parallel between the heads on the fountain, they you know, they're the right size. You know, they're definitely in the right size. Okay, one little thing about this painting. This little section here is, I'm sure at one time there was, when you were painting it, there was probably some light hitting this really strong. And you wouldn't do that without observing it.
Okay.
But I think for the painting, in my opinion, I would completely tone that down to this color. Because right now it kind of like pops out, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I would just, I think it's okay to have whatever that is, but I would just make it the same color as this.
Okay.
That's all. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I don't know if
Yep.
you agree or not, but, and,
I
yeah.
do.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, you got a lot going on in there, and I know you don't, what size is this? 16, what's
16 by 20.
Yeah, I know you don't paint small. That's great. Okay, very good.
Thank you very much, Errol.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, this is Shannon's painting. I know Shannon's here. Cheval, yeah. And you're here, right, Shannon?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, hi, Shannon. Yeah, I love this painting. I mean, I think it's like just a sweet little, you know, the way you cropped in on it. I mean, you know, there's a lot to learn from the way Shannon handled this, you know, because I mean, everybody's gonna paint it differently, you know. We can have 5 painters lined up, and if we don't look at each other's paintings, we're all gonna paint this differently. And she chose to focus on, you know, just this little area of the whole scene, you know. And there's no doubt about what the focal point is. Oops. And yeah, just love the softness of it. It's very painterly. I like the composition. Yeah, just a real great job. I do have a question for you, Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, I don't know if it's a reference photo or if it was your decision to do it. In the reference photo, the sign is more, you know, horizontal, you
Some
know.
of it, yeah, some of it's the reference photo. Where I was standing, there was a sharper angle. And you
Okay,
can see
okay.
I did like reorder where all the trees were, because I thought in the photo it was kind of confusing, right? They're all over the place and you couldn't see what was going on.
Oh, no, I didn't catch that. That's right. Yeah, I see what you did. Wow, that was a really good move. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you reordered it. Cool. Yeah. And these are people, right?
Yeah, little shadowy people.
Yeah, just a little shadowy of the people, you know. Yeah. I mean, I don't have much to say. I mean, another thing I want to point out for all of us, you know, when we make decisions of what to put in a plein air painting and what not to, I guess Shannon, you didn't think the garbage can was important.
Yeah, sometimes you can leave the garbage can out.
One thing, and the only thing, it's such a
Mhm.
small thing, like there's light on the post right here. I think that's light, isn't it? Isn't that light hitting it?
It is light,
Yeah,
yes.
and there's light here, there's light here, and there's light here. Okay. In the painting, not that you have to be exact, because you don't, you're the painter. You got the light there, which is fine. And you have a little bit of it there, and a little bit of there, and here, this is covering it. I just think that maybe just a hint of light there
Hmm.
would help, just a hint. And yeah, just a little bit. And maybe this one, maybe not. I mean, I think now the more I look at it, I'm thinking these values look, this almost looks too strong, but I don't know, that's a decision that, it's really picky, I love the way you handle these lights, by the way. Yeah.
Thanks,
Just
thanks.
just a great, and all the background, with the windows, it was very, they're there, but we know it's in the city. Yeah, great job. Love it. Okay. All right, moving on. Okay, I know Jill's not here. This is Jill's reference photo. And this is her painting. Yeah, watercolor. I think she did a really good job in this painting. I mean, well, what's going on? Happening? Okay. It's a good, it's another good architectural painting. I mean, plus she introduced the cars and she introduced people and the umbrellas. It's another slice of life, time standing still of what's going on during the day. And, it's got a feeling of the neighborhood. Great job with the light. I think a really good job on the windows, not over developing the windows. Yeah, I think overall really good. Some things that I would say about this painting, there's sort of minor things, in my opinion, that can be easily fixed. This building right here this is sort of like in shadow side. I mean, I know it's getting some ambient light, but this seems like a little bit light. You see how this is more of sort of the same value as this and this. It's sort of like the same value. This catches the light a little bit more, but as this side is not catching the light. Also, you guys, pay attention to this building right here. Okay, so when we go back to the painting, you can see that I just think it could get a little darker. I just think it's like too close to this value. So, and I like the way she kept the values very simple. So I think if she just tones this down, tones this white down just a little bit, that'd be fine. Now this building here, she might not be done with this, so I'm gonna go with that she's not done with it. And she's gonna take this building, and right now it sort of looks like this building is just a continuation of a line of buildings going down the street. When actually it's the side of a building, just like this building. Go back to the photograph. You see this building here? This is parallel to this. Okay, and it's kind of like even coming down on a little bit of an angle. So, I mean, you gotta pay attention. You don't have to pay attention, but I think it would help the painting if she straightened this out, and this is where I would maybe put some artistic license into this. Maybe even though there's no windows there, throw a couple little windows in there. No one's gonna know, and no one's gonna call you out on it, and it would, it would look like a building, sitting back there. Now this goes back, so that's fine. And then the other thing is maybe this tree is just a little bit too uniform. This almost looks like the Italian cypresses that were all over Italy. Maybe a little bit too much out of the tube color, maybe a little darker. Oh, and one other thing about this painting that I thought, the perspective. This fine, this perspective, 2-point perspective. This goes back to the vanishing point. This goes back to the vanishing point. This comes back. This looks right, pretty right. But these go straight across. These should all come down on the same, they should all go to the same vanishing point. So these have to be a little bit more on an angle. Even these slightly more in the angle, so. And then I think it would help if, you're doing these umbrellas, I think maybe to put a little bit of a shadow side on the umbrellas. These are minor things, but I think it's all gonna help, you know, it'll all help. Okay, so let's move it on. Okay, this is Danya. Don, you here? Don?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, hey Don, good to see you. Don, beautiful painting. I mean, we all know Don's a master. And I mean, that's the painting. And I don't know, when I look at this painting, especially if you look at it on, it doesn't show up as well on my computer monitor as it does on my iPhone or on my iPad. But the colors are just beautiful. There's so much to learn from this painting. The way to paint foliage and to get to get the depth and the volume of a tree. And he achieves that by using basically and it might be more than three, but there's at least three values in each tree. There's a dark, there's a medium value, there's a light value, and he pretty much did it, in every tree. There's a dark, there's a medium, there's a light, He probably is building them out from the front to the back. I assume, am I right, Don? I don't know.
Yeah, some of them I did that way, yes.
Yeah. And just like beautiful soft edges, and he does these trees so well. And then the figure, stands on its own, just a little bit of the light hitting, I mean, just lovely. The sky holes are just enough. A little bit of branch work going on there. I like how we just kind of like threw some little, a couple of little specks of leaves coming off. They're just kind of floating out there, but gives you to the illusion. And then the back, what was ever back there, he just kind of like, it goes back. It's not important what's back there, so great job. The thing that really floored me about this painting is I looked at the painting first, without looking at the reference. Then I looked at the painting and said, that son of a gun is standing across the street painting this. And it looked to me, you were standing across the street, right, Don?
Yeah, I was disappointed because I thought on Google Map somebody took a picture very close up, so I thought I would be able to get to that, but I just couldn't get it unless I get in the middle of the road where cars come by.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
if I'm too close, then it's gonna give it so much close up
Yeah, right.
perspective. So that was the only place I could position. So I couldn't see
Yeah.
much detail, but that's okay.
Yeah, but look, but you certainly pulled it off, and I can't see how it'd be any, but well, yeah. One thing I want to point out here is he made a decision. Of course, the fence doesn't come up that high, but even if I think he showed for the fence, I mean, he may have. I don't think he would have put the fence in down, would you?
No, yeah, actually, even the fence would be below the bottom edge of
below here. But even if
right,
your team was lower, this much lower.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it. Even if it was higher up, I would probably make.
I think that's a really good lesson for us all, because when I started painting plein air painting, I used to hear people say, "Well, you don't, you can move things around, you don't have to put things in, or blah blah blah." And I mean, like Shannon didn't put the garbage can in, and Don didn't put. Well, it wouldn't be in this size, you wouldn't see it anyway. But yeah, it's a beautiful painting. Great job, Don.
Thank you.
Okay, Lori. Okay, I know this because I painted it. And so here's the painting. So that's the dress shop, Winnie Couture. And I found out about Winnie Couture, and apparently I didn't know anything about him. I don't shop for many wedding dresses. And apparently that's where all like the big movie stars shop or something in Beverly Hills. So it's a famous dress shop. But so this is the scene, and this is the painting, and I think it's really a lovely, a lovely, soft, handling, very painterly again, great paint application. It's done with a lot of care, and nice, just nice brushwork, and I know you said in your comment that you waited for the light, you didn't wait for the light to change, but as the light changed, the shadow patterns got more interesting. So I can see that you have, some more interesting shadow pattern, given what were there, excuse me. And good job on the dress. I mean, you can really tell that that's like a, that's like a tiered, tiered dress, yeah, so just a very pretty painting. My comment on it, I do have a couple comments. Well, let me start with this one first of all. I feel that this part of the painting, in particular, this part right here, is this finished, Lori? Are you done, or are
Well,
you going
I
back?
wasn't sure that part I kind of just kept blurring out. So yeah, I'd be interested in what you think I should
Okay,
do with that.
okay. So I do have something to say about it. Like, I
Okay.
want to make sure we're going to go into further. That this part of the painting needs, I think, oh, let me tell you what it is first of all. This shape, the way this comes here, this angle, okay. And well, let me start with the awning.
Okay.
This awning, the top of this awning right here comes right here, right?
Hmm.
And the bottom comes right just below. All right. This is kind of important. I'm making a point of it because in your painting, the awning comes up here, and this comes. That may come. That's not bad. That's not bad. So maybe it has to be. I feel that this space, the way this angle, I think that, I know what I'm trying to say. I just got to say it, that there should be a. I should have to keep flipping back and forth.
Like a roof line? Like I
Yeah,
need a roof
I
line?
want to see the edge of this building. So
Okay.
we've got the shadow side and the light side. And the edge of the building comes right down pretty much to the part of the L. So it comes here, the roof line, and then the roof line comes below this, right? Which is right below this, okay? And the roof line comes, so the roof line should come like right there, kind of. I don't know if this is, maybe you gotta just work on the drawing,
Yeah, because what I
but
did, is I used two different, I started it in one thing, and then when I took the picture in the late afternoon, I wasn't standing in the right spot.
maybe this is might be too, it's hard to look back and forth, but you
Yeah.
catch my drift.
Yeah.
That I want to see I'd like to see this, the separation of this side of the building, that side of the building, and this building is coming down, and you see this blue sky here, and then this awning, you see this awning, and then make another hard edge right there. You can
Okay.
even put a couple windows right there, just like a couple lines, okay?
It
So
definitely, it needs work. As we use that
yeah,
top
but not
part needs
much.
work.
Yeah, you can easily do that, You just gotta like, you got the reference, just
Mhm.
figure out maybe this is too high. I don't know. It's hard to go back and forth to see it.
Yeah.
Wait. If you bear with me 1 second.
Because
I do have-
so I was saying was when I took this, the picture I took with the darker shadows, I'd already did my drawing from earlier in the morning, and it was like in a slightly different spot. Because
Yeah.
you see how like the stop sign's different and everything. So I was further over.
Here's the problem, Lori.
Mm-hmm.
In the picture, this corner of this roof line
Uh-huh.
is up here.
Okay.
So this is a drawing problem. It's a drawing problem from start to finish. So I mean, you're a skillful enough drawer. Look at where when you go back to the painting, look at where so you might have to make some corrections. Without, maybe this is too high from here to here. You can maybe lower that a little bit, so that
Okay.
way you wouldn't have to like lower, cut this as much. You know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha.
But anyway, so yeah, I just make the roof line, and then I throw a couple, once you separate that, that's gonna be above this building, you throw a couple windows in there.
Okay, doke.
And that building here with the roof line comes above this building. This will be all that same building. You'll see it when you get there,
Yeah, okay.
And the only one other thing, watch the darkness of your shadows and the hard edges of the shadow. this is like so hard, that's so hard, you know?
Okay.
Soften up the edges of the shadow, and like this shadow color, I know
Uh-huh.
this is the building, but that would be more the shadow color of the road. You know, our shadow colors are never as dark as you think, you know,
Okay.
yeah, but otherwise, good job.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So in the window, do you think I should make the dark areas
Mhm.
in the window as dark as what's underneath that awning on the red awning?
I think it's, I mean, I know in life and in observation that it looked darker,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I sort of like the way it looks, you know, to be honest with you.
Okay.
You know, if anything, maybe the sign. I mean, I sort of like the feel of this whole thing,
Okay.
you know. So I mean, I would kind of wait to see it. Also, I think, you know, you put the stop sign in. I think it's a good idea. You put the red awning in too, because the red awning, you know, without that red awning there, I'm not sure if I'd like the stop sign there as much. It might be even a little bit, you're kind of almost duplicating the shape a little bit, but not bad. Yeah, I would say the main thing is this up here.
That
See
up
what
there.
happens. Once you do that, I think
Okay.
then take it from there.
And soften the shadow on the road,
Top
right?
of the shadow, yeah. And
Okay,
then,
look.
oh, and then maybe a little bit, this is street. This is, I'd like to see some kind of indication of where the sidewalk is. Because right now, there's some delineation of this all looks like it's one, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
some type of delineation of where the street is and where the sidewalk is. So maybe you could just make the street bluer, you know what I mean? Like darker asphalt,
Mm-hmm.
all what I'm saying? And also, as buildings meet the street, they get much softer. Look how much harder you got it here and then you have it here. Part of that is because of the value, darker value, lighter value, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And here you got like more, the values are closer, but I would maybe even soft, by darkening it, making it more this value of the street, you know, it's going to help, you know, and, yeah. Yeah, okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
okay, yeah, yeah. Oh. Here's wedding dresses. Okay. This is
Yelena.
Elena. Are you here? You're here, Elena, right?
I'm
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, how are you?
hi.
So,
I'm good.
Elena, I mean, kudos to you, Elena.
Okay.
If I was in a bunch of guys, I would say, you know, man, got a lot of guts. That's a lot to
Yeah.
tackle.
Let's be look at museum.
And you did a good job. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to draw
Thank
there. I know, you know, that's the Milwaukee Art Museum and beautiful building and, you know, I mean, there's a lot to do there. And this is like also very complicated because other than this bottom part here where it's, you know, darker value, these are
That's
values are all very
yes.
close, you know, and so that's quite a challenge in itself. And so this is your painting, you know,
Yeah.
and then again, you know, great job. I mean, you know, the draftsmanship, the drawing, you know, I mean, pretty good, you know. I mean, even, you know, everything is there, you know.
I think this is all here there, yes.
Yeah, yeah, it's all the same. I think that that adding some, okay, couple things. Right now, the strongest, one of the darkest value and one of the strongest value is this
Is
green
that?
down. So what I would do, first of all, the perspective of the street is going uphill. So I would kind of like somehow straighten, this is fine right here. Maybe this needs to be just not so uphill, like, you know, you can fix it somehow, you know, just straighten
I
it
need
out.
to fix this.
I think, let me look back at the photograph. Yeah, you see, it doesn't go uphill. Just go, I know the street, it goes straight. And then I don't think that green down there, I think you can like gray down your greens a little bit, like have them more neutral. So this is the hero. And then what you could do is you could take some liberties and maybe you know, maybe get some blues of the sky, some darker values of the sky. Oops, some darker
More
values.
dark blue.
Yeah, so, and maybe pick up some of these darks in the, you know, find out some areas where you can where you can emphasize the dark. I mean, you know, you kind of like explain a lot, I would, you know, in some areas, I would almost leave a little bit more to the imagination of the viewer, you know? Like this instance, this is an area that you could do like a dark shape, right? And
Mhm.
maybe just take a palette knife instead of having this more, you know, fuzzy line, or maybe not even hardly even put a line there, just make it a dark area. Maybe make this as a dark area.
I see
Maybe,
dark area here,
or
yeah,
maybe
and
maybe
maybe like.
simplify, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I mean, and then on this, you could maybe do some value shifts from where the wings are more like curved under and maybe they're a little bit darker. You know, like here, you see there's a value shift where
Thanks.
it's darker and lighter and darker, you know, and it's a darker here under there. You know what I mean? Try to find some spots. And maybe some of these areas of the of the street, maybe instead of explaining every little shadow, I think maybe a little simplification in certain areas could help, but I know this is your style too. So what I'm saying might be contrary to the way you paint, you know what I mean? So,
I
you know, I've
understand
seen
you,
enough of
yes.
your paintings over the years, you know, I certainly don't want to step on your toes, you know, you want to be your own. But maybe just some, you know, maybe some darks someplace and maybe just tone down the
I see,
green.
I need more dark
Yeah, this
area.
car is a great car. You know, this car, I don't know. This car is
This-
amazing. But yeah, kind of going uphill.
The same car here. No,
Yeah, same car, yeah.
I
Nice
mean,
job
got it
though, yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I
It's
see,
a great museum too. Okay, so moving ahead.
thank you.
This thing opens, you guys probably all know this museum. This thing
Mhm.
opens and closes. So cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. And this is Deb's, right?
Yeah, I don't think Debbie, I don't think Deb's here, so you could just critique her anyway.
Good Deb. Yeah. Okay, well, Deb, I hope you, when you do watch this one day, I think she did a really good job on this painting. Great, you know, another piece of art. I think we're all doing good with architecture. Matter of fact, I think the whole group is doing amazing. I mean, those artists who've been artists for a long time have always been good and are doing good. And the people who are not further along have made great strides. And I mean, I think as a group, our paintings just keep getting better and better. And and Deb's another example of that. You know, she's really coming along. And she really took her time. She did a really good job in the drawing. She's got her verticals. Wait, does she have? She didn't give me a painting. That's all right. Her verticals are good, which is important in architecture. I think, well, there's not much perspective in here. I mean, a little bit under here. Um, I think this, yeah, I mean, nice job on the people. I mean, they're in proportion to the windows, which is something that, you know, a lot of people didn't do or haven't done, but she's doing it. This is tricky under here, but she did a good job there. Um, yeah, so overall, really good. Here's the deal with this painting. From here, I think overall it's a really good painting. From here, if I take out this part right here and leave this and all this, it's a great painting. If you guys cover on your screen, if you cover just the top story that if you just cover with your hand this whole area and just look at this area and then reverse it, it almost look a little bit like two different paintings, a little bit, you know. It may be because maybe she didn't put quite as much work up here. But here's my thinking on this. These verticals, I think there's maybe a little bit here she simplified. See how simple this is? And it really reads well. I think here, I mean, maybe it's because it's like a little bit crooked. If she did it a little bit straighter and maybe not so wonky, you know, I think that would help. And maybe that's the big thing. And this line comes down on an angle where I know she's looking straight on. It should be straight across, so a little bit on the perspective. And maybe I just think she needs to soften this a little bit, this whole area. And maybe this window here, you know, you guys, I hope you guys know what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be too hard on her. I'm just maybe simplify this whole thing right in here. I mean, even if she just made this window, basically this value, like she did here, did the same thing here, the same thing here. Let this be the hero, like she did here, like she did here, and like kind of like she did here. I think maybe a little bit too much information right there. And if she does that, I think that's all this needs, maybe a little lighter back there. So otherwise, this is really, really, really good. It's one of her better paintings. Okay,
Getting better and better.
better and better. Oh my God, now I gotta talk about myself. So, all right. So why did I paint this? I was talking to Stephanie. I said, why did I paint that? She says, because I told you to. Because she knew I went there and scouted out the location. And so that's partly true and partly not true. But I wanted to show you just, you know, for better or worse, the way what I decided to hone in on. I mean, I've done, you know, we've seen a lot of painters paint, you know, cut up scenes in different ways, you know. Everybody, some people painted, I'm not pointing the finger at Jill, but she did like a whole block, you know, and like, um, what's wrong with me here now? And like Shannon did like, just like, you know, a real cropped in view. So, you know, that's whatever speaks to us, you know, or whatever we're trying to communicate. So what kind of like what I liked about this particular scene was the dress shot, you know, and it was all in shadow, and I knew it was going to be in shadow. You know, so maybe it wasn't the strongest, you know, subject matter, but you know, I went for it anyways, which is always a challenge. So I cropped into it, and I basically did an L crop here, and it basically, you know, okay, so basically, this is the color is not right on this, by the way. It's not accurate, which leads me to believe the other ones weren't accurate too either. But anyways, that, you know, this is basically like 75%. And you know, I don't know, you know, it's okay. It's not my favorite painting. You know, it's got a lot of architecture in it. You know, I think I did okay. I mean, the car looked really small to me, but it was a Mini Cooper. And I went back and looked at my reference photo. And I says, you know, that sucker is really small. And look at that, where the roof comes up to. And it's just a tiny little car. It looks like a midget car, you know. But you know, all in all, you know, I think it's okay. I did take it home and I did work on it a little bit, so it's kind of a hybrid painting. And I did the lettering, you know, at home. I will say I think I'm getting better at lettering. I know that it's a little bit off as it goes down here. Something that I learned from Scott years ago for all you guys, I'll share with you. When you're doing lettering, let's say, for instance, that you're going to just have a sign over a building, right? Like, let's say it's only Winnie, and Winnie's over the building, and there's 9 letters in the building. Do your center letter first, you know, so you know, and then do your spacing out from that. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then when you get this small, these are really tiny. It's for me, I'm just not skillful enough to do that kind of, I can't make my paint flow right. So I mean, but it kind of like people will kind of read into it, you know. And I kind of like the way I actually did. I like the way I'm getting kind of like this the way these windows read, and this Lori kind of speaks to your windows, you know, that they're just not, you know, even though in the photos, but don't forget photos, I mean, these were really dark in there, you know what I mean? And but I kind of like the way they read, that they're not like super dark. There's some, you know, atmosphere in them, you know, and so I'm okay with that, you know. I think this is a little bit hard edged and a little dark. I could soften that up. Again, I'm sorry, you guys, the colors look different in real life. My lines they're okay. I could have worked a little harder on them. They should be narrower, they should progressively get narrower. I got kind of like a little bit lazy on that. I'm okay on the steps. Robin, this is for you, where you could do like a dark and take a palette knife, put a line across, I kind of messed it up a little bit, but just make a dark and just take a palette knife and get paint on the edge of it and just do a line, and it kind of gives you the indication, of the steps. And let's see what else I can talk about this painting. Yeah, I think, I know something that really bothers me about this painting. I may have to go back. And Lori, this is what I was talking to you about, how it kind of wraps
Okay.
around where the street is, the sidewalk.
Mhm.
Kind of like I can differentiate between, the street and the sidewalk. I thought about putting a person here coming down the street, but I don't know, maybe I'll go back and do it. But see how this shadow meets this car? I don't know. I mean, even Stephanie looked at it, she didn't bother her. I don't know. I'm not sure if it does or not. Maybe the shadow could have came like this, but these are all like, little things.
Well, what's
So-
wrong with the shadow, Errol? Do you think it's a
Well, it
tangent
just
or
kind of like
something?
goes right into the corner of that car.
Oh,
I mean, maybe it could, yeah. But you notice the shadow isn't totally black either, you know what I mean?
right.
And this is all in shadow. The whole street's in shadow. And Scott taught me that a long time ago. Yeah. Anyways, I don't think there's any more. I think we hit the end.
No, a couple more.
Oh, the other one. Okay, whose is this? This is Deborah. Deborah, are you here?
I don't think she is.
Okay, so she'll watch it on the. Oh, we got two more. Okay. Okay, Deborah. Nice painting. I'm telling you, I know these kind of scenes. When I look at these scenes, they give me a headache. These are tough scenes, I mean, there's a lot of drawing there. You did a really nice job on the boats, I mean, those are not, you did a really good job of taking complicated shapes and simplifying it. Here's the sometimes when I look at these things, I've tried painting them before and I see too much, and you just break it down into like, simple shapes. This is the front of a square, and this is the side, this is the front, make them boxes, and she kind of did that in her painting. I think, I mean, they have volume. Good job on the skyline with the buildings, the water. It's a nice painting, there's a couple things about this painting that could really put it over the top. And maybe you guys already see what it is. I think next time I do a critique, I'm gonna we should share, not that I'm calling on people and grading them or anything, but say, okay, Lori,
What?
what do you see in this painting?
What do I think it should change? What's
Yeah.
different?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the skyline should be even paler.
Right, spot on.
A
I
plus.
want, yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. I mean, I think that we ought to do that one day. I want to tell you guys a story. I was in Italy, as you know, for 2 weeks with this artist, Craig Nelson, really good artist. And he's a teacher, at a university. And at the last day, we painted for 2 weeks and we all had like around 20 paintings. And none of us really looked at each other's paintings. He had us put all our paintings out, and we were like in a big patio. So we each had a table and there was 20 of us. So it was all these paintings laying up there. And we all went around looking at everybody's paintings. It was a lot of fun. And then he said, okay. And he said, I want you each to pick out your favorite painting, and I want you each to pick out your least favorite painting. And then I wanted to hear out why you think it's your favorite and why it's your least favorite. And when you do that, what he was teaching or what he was trying to teach is we all need to critique our own paintings. And at some point, it's great to listen to other people, comment. I've been very fortunate. I've got a critiquer built in Stephanie. She's critiqued my paintings for years, and I try to critique hers, but she doesn't like to listen. That's another story. But anyways, so when Lori said that, she's absolutely right, that the buildings in the back, atmospheric perspective, by lightening these buildings and sending them back, right, Lori?
Right,
As it is here, it's going to like, it won't bring them so far forward. And then, then even with the sky, I mean, the sky's possibly okay. Skies do get darker, and as they go down, they get lighter. We should know that. Possibly, I mean, the sky's okay, and these greens could be maybe slightly grayed down. I mean, send them back because they're so strong. And I think the focal point, the hero this painting are the boats. So let's work on the boats and let's make the boats more, a little bit more finished. And maybe she's not finished with the painting, so maybe she could like maybe pop some harder edges on the boats, on the, she has a good hard edge there. Maybe some stronger edges here, maybe some, just more, yeah, and maybe more color, maybe some more, more chroma, more saturation, less saturation back here, because it's bringing the eye right over it, And then I don't know if this is the dock. It looks like she put the dock in, and I don't know if she can't make up her mind, or she started, and I don't know. I don't think she needs it, but it's not so bad if it is. So I think she has to make a decision. I think it's neither here nor there. But one important thing that's really important about this painting that she didn't do, and is going to really help this, is the shadows come down from the boat straight into the water. See how this edge comes straight down? This is all observation. So it's our job as artists when we go out there to make observations. And sometimes we need to study something and see things, direction of things, whether it be perspective, angles, values, relationships, relationships of values, so important, where things line up, all those things. Well, this is another, another observation. So it gets softer here, so hard edge, it goes straight down into there, probably go straight there, straight there. And here she kind of like did in her painting, did kind of like, I mean, if she went straight down here with a hard edge and made it dark, even continued into this. I just saw a recent painting in a museum by a master, and I was looking at his boats and the way he took this edge, it was all dark and went right dark into the shadow. Maybe it was Monet. We were looking at Monet's. So, anyways, I hope that that helps her if she gets. But otherwise, it's a beautiful painting. Okay, we got one more.
Two more, Fabiola and Jana.
Oh yeah, Jana. Is that how is that? Okay.
Jana,
Wait, Fabiola.
Fabiola.
She was painting right by me. I painted the same scene with her.
I think
And
she said it's not finished, right?
she said it's not finished and she needs help. So, that's why we're here. Oh my God. Okay. There's a lot of nice things about this painting, some of my favorite parts of this painting are this bridge and this building back here. I mean, I just love the way she sent this building back. I love the way she's got the different bridges going back with the angles. I mean, it's really a nice job. That's sort of, it's not easy to do. And the building, so this is all looking good. I know that she told me she loved the water on this, okay? And there's a tree, you can see her easels right there. And this tree is right in front of her. With not the easiest thing, to paint around. So she incorporated the tree into the painting. My feeling is that probably this tree doesn't need to be there. She could probably have the leaves come down, or maybe just like a part of the tree, not so straight, you know, and not the same color as the bridge. Make an observation of the tree. It's probably more of a blue-green, or it's darker, you know. And then you see how there's a tree here, and there's a tree there, and a tree there. There's perspective to these branches going back. So it's fine to have the tree there, and she obviously liked it in her painting. But I think what she's got to do, and she has kind of started it. I don't, that's probably supposed to be this tree. So I think just have the branches, make sure we know these branches are somehow coming off this tree and not the same color as the bridge. Maybe darker, you know, so we know it's in front. So there's there's a plane here, there's a plane there, a plane back there. And then, you know, fine to have the tree there if she wants it. Keep in mind when you frame it, you might lose a little bit of it. And make it more of a, more of a color, different color than the bridge, darker. And then maybe have more trees coming out of from the background, leading down. And then water, more chroma, greener, bluer, and save the highlights for last. She put the highlights in right away, and it looks like a sheet of ice. So get your more, strong blues and your strong greens, and however you're applying the paint, and then build up to your lights. I know she's an oil painter, so build it up from dark to light. And then I think that's really all she needs, I mean, I even like the color here she has, but yeah, it's gonna be a little tricky doing the perspective with those branches, but look at the color of this tree. This is really, talking about and even the bridge is kind of red, but it's certainly not red. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so Jana. Okay, so this is her, this is the Michigan Avenue Bridge. I think it's called the DeSable Bridge, I think it's called. I always call it the Michigan Avenue Bridge. Iconic, classic. We've all painted it, I think, I painted it a ton of times. From this actual angle, this is down where the bolts load. It's a great spot to go down there and paint. If you guys haven't been down there, it's a cool spot to paint down there. Just gotta be careful the bolt doesn't get in front of you. So maybe you have to be up on a step. Maybe she is up a little bit. So I think this is a great painting. I mean, I've seen a lot of her paintings over the years, and this is really, really a really nice painting. Sort of like. I'm gonna keep this image up. Can you guys all see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just think this is a good way to look at it, because she took a picture. I mean, in the future, for critiques, I don't know, it's not a bad idea. Take a picture of the subject, take a picture of your painting, and a picture of the painting and the subject. I mean, that's like, a real nice way for us to all learn and to see what she did, and we can see how she cropped in. I mean, there's a lot there. She decided that this was about the bridge houses and the bridge, and real good architectural drawing, good values, good color, good temperatures. I don't know if she's finished with this or she's gonna go further. I sort of like it the way it is, but I mean, some people would make this more, I mean, if we go to her other, all this stuff back here, she kind of kept it blurred out and, kind of like fuzzy, which is okay. You can do that. No one says you can't do that, So, I mean, that's perfectly okay to paint that way. And I love that kind of stuff personally. For me, sometimes less is more, where I like where you give like enough information, you know what it is, but you give the viewer, in my opinion, something to look at. Not to say there's anything wrong with over-explaining or explaining, and I shouldn't say over-explaining, someone who is more towards explaining more, it's all good, you know what I mean? But, and I like it all, but I particularly, I mean, this kind of resonates with me. But maybe she's going to do something more with it. Maybe she's not gonna do something. It'd be interesting to take a vote. I'm not going to, you know, take a silent vote. What do you think? Should she do more? Should she do more? At first, when I looked at this, I thought that maybe that this is cropped a little bit. I thought maybe a little bit more water should have been shown, but I don't think so. I think it's good the way it is. If I had to go back, if I have to say one thing about this painting, so I just like the way she did all this. Very simple, you know, just enough in there. You can tell what it is. Enough windows. Right here. This is underneath the bridge. Now I know there's reflected light. This is on an angle. There's reflected light coming off that water and lighting that up. I don't believe it's lighting it up that much. And I think that even if it is lighting it up that much, I think that, let me see. See, well, I guess what it is. Oh, that's that mirror thing underneath the bridge walk. Okay, that's what that thing is. So maybe it was catching light when she painted it. I don't know. I would just darken it. I would just make it a little bit darker. That's it. And I'd make the shadow a little bit darker here. I'd continue the darkness of the shadow. You know, but other than that, I don't think she needs to do a thing to it. Okay, is there another one?
I think that might be it.
Or is that an old one?
That's
Okay.
Argyle. We're not even, I don't even think that's there anymore.
Yeah, it's not even there anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing, right?
Right.
Unless anybody has anything they want to go back to or talk about, anybody?
Nope.
Okay.
Is it,
I think overall, really good. I mean, you know.
and thank you for your great critiques, Errol. They're always very insightful.
Well, I mean, as I said, you know, if there's something you can use, I'm glad, you know, great. If you don't agree, that's fine too. You know, if you want to take some, leave the rest, you know. But no, I am glad you got something out of it. You know?
It's excellent. This
Yeah.
will be in a couple of days available on, oh, Jana was here. We didn't know she was
It
here.
was? I didn't know she was there.
I didn't know she was here. Jana, do you want to say anything?
Hi. Yeah, I mean, I just I listened to critique. I think, yeah, it's I agree with that.
Okay.
Are you finished with that painting, John, or are you gonna do more to it?
Well, actually, I was thinking to like make the background maybe less contrast.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're thinking of what, putting in more detail in the background, or you know?
No, make them like maybe less contrast some of the lines.
Oh, less contrast. Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. Very nice. Okay.
Well, thank you, Errol. This,
Yeah.
the recording should be available in a couple of days on our YouTube channel for anybody that wants to see it again, or people that weren't here, of course. And we thank you very much, Errol. Always insightful.
Okay, my pleasure. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Carol.
Oh, you guys are all welcome. It's great seeing you all. See you out in the field. Where are we going next? What's
Thank
next
you
week?
very much.
Oh, wait,
Well, we're
next week.
going to Evanston Saturday because it sort of kicks off the Evanston Plein Air Festival
Oh,
for
that's
those of us
right.
who are in it, and a lot of us are in it. So
Right. Yeah.
hope to see you there.
I'm at the garden, you know, we open up our house for the garden walk, so.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend, so.
Well, anybody who hasn't been to Errol's to see their lovely home and the stripes on the sidewalk, and Stephanie doing the stripes on the sidewalk.
And about 800 paintings.
800 paintings. Yeah,
you know,
they're very cool garden.
But it's at Bucktown Garden Walk. Our address is 2128 Homer Street. And we're
Homer?
open, Homer, Homer,
Like in
and
Simpson.
we're open from 10 to 6 Saturday and Sunday, and we're part of the Bucktown Garden Walk. And if you go to the Bucktown Garden Walk, maybe they have a Facebook page, you can download the map. And we have a lot of cool gardens in our neighborhood, and you can, yeah, you can go in their yards and see, you know, and some of them have, you know, there's some artists too, you know, not a lot of them, but there's yard art and stuff, you know, so it's good. Yeah, stop by. Okay.
Okay, thanks so much. Bye,
Okay,
everybody.
Thank
thanks.
you.
Okay, thanks, Lori. Okay.
You.
We'll see you.
Bye,
Bye.
Bye.
thank
Thanks
you.
again, Errol.